morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we need to take a look at another Inteleon card. Now, I know we've already had a look at one of these, and I know it might have been yesterday, depending on the upload schedule here. But this one's really good. Like, really good. We like this one, ladies and gentlemen. We like it a lot. So we should probably start off having a look at the basics, shouldn't we? 160 HP is pretty good. It's what the other Inteleon had. It's pretty much what we expect. Slightly upsetting that it's basically in line with Stage 2s from the Sun and Moon era, but we can't have power creep in every single part of the game now, can we? That would just be a little bit silly. We got a weakness to lightning, which seems to be fairly standard now for water Pokemon. They've gone away from a grass weakness back to a lightning weakness. And yeah, I mean, Pikachu and Zekrom will get a one-hit KO where they wouldn't before, but other than that, we're doing all right. And we got a nice little retreat cost of 1, which means U-turn board, and frankly, yeah, it's quite low. And we're a water Pokemon. We can use Crash Awake, if we so wish. We can use a combination of Naganadel and Quagsire in order to get the energy on. We can use Keldeo GX as a lovely little partner. We can use Blastoise and Piplup to get ourselves extra energy, do some healing, all of that fun stuff. There is an awful lot to like about Inteleon. But we should probably have a look at the attacks, really, shouldn't we? And the great news is that because we've got an English scan, there ain't no translation needed here, ladies and gentlemen. We good. The ability here is Shady Dealings. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. And the language here is extremely important. It does not say item cards. It says trainer cards. Which means that you can just go ahead and grab whatever. Supporters, stadiums, items, whatever you fancy, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you gosh darn well fancy. It's absolutely brilliant. And this gives you a huge amount of consistency. Now, of course, eagle-eyed viewers among you might realise that this is kind of similar to Alolan Ninetales GX. Alolan Ninetales GX has the ability Mysterious Guidance. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 item cards. Reveal them, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck. So it is a super-powered version of Alolan Ninetales' ability. Now, to be fair, it is trainers, not items, but it's also on a Stage 2, rather than a Stage 1. Which, well, let's just politely say that that complicates matters a little bit. It makes things a little bit more awkward. We've still got rare candy, and to be fair, one of the coolest things about this at the moment is that we actually do have Crash Awake. So that means that you're going to be able to discard 2 water energy from your hand, search your deck for 2 cards, put them into your hand. So in theory, a turn 1 Crash Awake could lead you to a rare candy and an Inteleon, and then that Inteleon could then lead you to a rare candy and something like an Evolution Incense. That's the new item card we're getting that searches for an Evolution Pokemon. And then before you know it, you've actually got double Inteleon very, very quickly. I think this actually stands a chance. When I showed you the other Inteleon, what I basically told you was, look, it's a good card, and it's very fun, and it looks good, and there's a lot I like about it, but it's a Stage 2. And being a Stage 2 is super awkward. Well, now we've got this other Inteleon, which actually comes along and goes, well, maybe it's not actually all as awkward as you worried it might be. I'm here to help, guys. What do you need? How cool is that? The answer is very. You've still got to get the first one rolling. But I think of this a little bit like Meganium, the one that came out in Lost Thunder. The Meganium from Lost Thunder basically allows you to just evolve a basic into a Stage 2, even if it hasn't been down a turn. Even if you don't have rare candy, any of that malarkey, you can just instantly evolve a basic into a Stage 2. Getting the first Meganium is awkward, but once you've got Meganium rolling, your entire job becomes so much easier. That's the case with this. Getting the first Inteleon is a pain, but once you've got that first Inteleon, life becomes a lot easier. You don't have to use the first Inteleon to grab a rare candy in a way to get the second Inteleon. You could instead go for a Great Catcher, for instance, to allow you to gust up one of your opponent's Pokemon. Or you could grab yourself a Mars, which can discard a card from your opponent's hand, bearing in mind the other Inteleon has a little bit of hand disruption. You can do whatever you like here. You can search yourself out a Jesse and James to make your opponent discard a couple cards from their hand, while also grabbing you something that will help you search out a Weezing, which will make your opponent discard an extra card from their hand. Anything in your deck is up for grabs, and that of course means that you can play annoying little one-off cards just to annoy your opponent. You can find that reset stamp on the perfect turn, although you're probably playing that anyway, to be fair. You can find that crushing hammer for that turn where you just really desperately need to get rid of an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. I mean, you could even play a pair of Custom Catcher and then just go and grab both of them to gust one of your opponent's Pokemon if they're not a GX. This is a phenomenal ability. It's the kind of ability that makes Inteleon and Stage 2s generally more playable. And that has got to be applauded. Now, as for the attack here, we've got 1 water, 1 colourless energy, Aqua Bullet. 120 damage to the active, 20 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. It's good. Kind of. The 20 damage to the bench is very nice. Now, to be fair, a lot of people at the moment do play the Mew from Unbroken Bonds, which will protect their bench, but, 20 to the bench is still pretty good. 100 to the active is a weird one for me. Because you see, on the one hand, it's 120 for 2 energy, which is pretty good. And it'll get a 1-hit KO on a lot of non-GXs. Something like Oranguru goes down nice and easily. But then something like Florges, which is seeing a little bit more play lately, will also go down. 120. But what about stuff like Buzzwole sitting there with 130? And there's a fair few Pokemon around with 130 that you won't be able to get. And similarly, when it comes to things where you're hitting for weakness, Blacephalon, yay, goes down easy, but Reshiram and Charizard doesn't. GXs like Naganadel, you're getting a nice, simple 2-hit KO. But then again, if you get stuff like Mewtwo and Mew, you're not that close to a 2-hit KO. And that's a problem here. If this was 140 and you could get a 1-hit KO on a Reshiram and Charizard and a 2-hit KO on almost anything else, I'd be loving it. But it's not. And then we get, of course, to your VMAX Pokemon, things like Snorlax VMAX, and now you're trying to hit 340, and you're firmly in 3-hit KO territory, and now I'm just a bit like, well... I mean, look, it's a low-cost attack. And you got decent HP, and you got low retreat and an amazing ability, and you're not doing a huge amount of damage like some other Pokemon, but by the same token, you're not investing as much as you are in some other Pokemon. And I love the fact that you can tech in other weird Pokemon and other weird strategies, knowing that you've got the option of searching out 2 trainer cards when you evolve up. And I showed you the other Inteleon, I'll pop a link in the description, that's got a little bit of hand disruption, and it's got a little bit of energy denial, and maybe we've actually got the beginning of a deck here. It's probably too generous, but I'm giving it 4 Wassies, and maybe it's because I loved Sobble on my initial playthrough, and I've got too much of a soft spot for it, but I'm kind of alright with it. I'm a fan. I like this. But I'd like to know what you think about it, so, let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.